SMOG started in 2006. I had a friend of mine that was really into dubstep music way before anyone had ever even heard of it. And had for a little while been trying to convince me, like, you should do something with this music, because there's nowhere to LA to go hear it. So yeah, I was DJing at, Vanguard, which is now Create. It's gone through a couple different, no, it's now Academy. Actually, it's gone through a couple different names. Academy in Hollywood. But at that time, it was Vanguard. And buddy of mine was like, hey, maybe we can do like the second room or something. We'll do like a dubstep thing in here. And then we just kind of got like motivated to decide, like, we're going to do our own event. And so it was our only motivation to do one night. It was going to be like the first time we've been an all dubstep event in LA. And I remember we had a hard time finding enough DJs to play dubstep music for an entire night. There weren't enough records on vinyl at that time that existed that really warrant an entire night of that music. So you kind of had to start asking around people that were making it. And, I hit up this dude, John Infiltrata, and he was like a big LA drum and bass DJ, and hit him up and I asked, hey, I heard you're making some dubstep records. Would you be down to play one of our shows? We're going to do the first all dubstep event in LA. And he was really excited, but he was like, oh, I'm going to be in Germany that weekend. I don't think I can do that. So he turned us on to some other guys in the Bay Area, and they came down. And Dave Q, kind of the big promoter for Dub War in New York, he came out. And so we just kind of kicked it off, and it was like a great show, but we lost like a ton of money. And I was like, I don't know if I ever want to do this again. But I started getting emails from a lot of people that were like, that changed my life. I've never heard anything like that. And I had so much fun. It was amazing. And when's the next one? So we did one more, and then a few more. And the next thing you know, Infiltrata becomes 12th Planet. He starts making records. We decided we're going to start releasing them because no one in the UK could fit it into their release schedule. So we were like, let's just do our own label. And then, that became SMOG Records, SMOG Events. For a good 10 years of my life, I was, pushing events and releasing records, and kind of that, between that and my day job in motion graphics, like I was at a point where I had to kind of make a decision what I was going to do. Was it going to be music, or was it going to be corporate graphic work? And I chose music, which seemed crazy. About 2011. And everyone was kind of like, the housing market thing had just kind of faltered, and a lot of people were out of work. And so it seemed crazy that I would leave what a lot of people assumed to be a dream job to go work in a record label, which was also a dying field. So, I remember one of the first gigs I did after leaving my day job was for Possible. And they're a motion design studio that does a lot of amazing music visuals. And at the time, they were very new. And one of the guys that freelanced at my office was like, hey, you should hit up my buddy Michael Figge. He's working on all this new stuff. And, you're really into music. I think you really dig this. So I call him up and say, hey, I'm freelancing now, and I'd like to, see if maybe there's some stuff we can work on. He says, yeah, I've got this project coming up. It's for deadmau5's new tour visuals. And would you like to be an animator on this? And I ended up, taking the gig and, having to sort of expedite my passport renewal to find myself in Toronto on a soundstage with Michael and some of the Possible guys. And we were cranking out visuals with the lighting director, which was Martin Phillips from Bionic League, who had done like the Daft Punk Pyramid and a bunch of stuff for Kanye and Lady Gaga. And so we were working directly under him and just kind of creating content to go on this massive deadmau5 cube structure. And that was really the first time that I was sort of seen the light with, actually working with an artist on their show. And before, for me, being a VJ at clubs was just doing whatever you wanted to, as long as you were using the gear, it was cool. And that was fun, but I kind of saw it more as a hobby. But then seeing how we kind of been working on very specific songs and for a specific artist, and working with the artist and the lighting team, and how all those things choreographed together, it just like opened up so much for me. And I was like, I want to do this. Like, this is where I should be taking my graphic skills, my love for music, working on shows, and specifically like creating content that is artist specific. And, that stuff that we did for that Deadmau5 tour, there was a double page, spread in Rolling Stone magazine. It was the one with Skrillex on the cover. And, they're like saying EDM is here. And there was like a 2-page spread with Deadmau5's, production design debuting at Lollapalooza with the content that I created. And then 2 pages later, there's a Skrillex article, and he's talking about dubstep and how he was going to my parties to discover this music. And so it was like I was featured in there twice in a weird way. But it just felt like, everything was changing. This was the 2010s now. And, dance music was a new thing. Visuals was a new thing. And that just kind of got me excited about that. And I really started shaping, what would eventually become Immanent around that time.
Hell yeah, man. That's fucking epic, dude. And it's crazy because that sort of inflection point and then the few years that followed that are what got me and, everybody I think has been on these episodes before that are fellow Immanent fam and other, designers and stuff. Like, this generation of artists was inspired by like that Deadmau5 tour, that Skrillex tour, like 2011 through 2013. We all got our mind blown by the shit you guys were doing, and that's why we're here. So hell yeah, very exciting. If you like this clip, check out the rest of the clips and the full-length interviews. Links in the description.